Now let us discuss Plato's conception of a philosopher king. We know that in Plato's ideal state there has to be three classes, that is the philosopher king, the soldiers and the common people. In his ideal state, philosopher king occupies very important position. Plato says, until the philosophers are kings or the kings and the princes of this world have the spirit and the power of philosophy and political wisdom and greatness meet in one, the cities will never have rest from their ills. Plato in his book The Republic specifies some of the qualities for a philosopher king, and that qualities are: he should be the lover of truth, he should be realistic in his approach and dealings, he should have self-control so that he is free of temptations, he should be bold and courageous and free of self-interest, he should be kind, compassionate and courteous to his subjects. Above all, he should be a man of learning and wisdom. All the requirements indicate that the philosopher king has to be a person of great virtue, wisdom and knowledge. The philosopher king are subjected to a life of strict discipline and self-sacrifice. They live in seclusion and in a barracks to protect them from all forms of corrupting influence. Plato advocated that the philosopher king should not have his home or treasure of his own. Plato felt that the philosopher king do not need gold, as they themselves represent gold in their spirit. All these restrictions are necessary for the philosopher king so that he can serve the state with spirit of dedication and devotion. I hope that by this time every one of you getting a question that how the philosopher kings are selected. In Plato's philosophy of ideal state, education plays an important role in grooming the philosopher to become kings. For the first 10 years, education would be predominantly physical. Play and sports would be the entire curriculum. According to Plato, mere sports would dull the wits, so music comes into picture. Plato says music imparts harmony and rhythm, so conducive to justice. At the age of 20, there will be a test which will result in a great weeding out. Those who are not at all capable to become guardian would be sent out. At the age of 30, there will be yet another severe test. Those who qualify will evaluated to highest honor. Those who fail will become warriors. From 30 to 35 years, philosophers are taught metaphysics and statesmanship. He will also be put in workshop of experience which will continue up to 50 years. Again, there will be a test and those that survive will have to be again tested, and those who have distinguished themselves in every sphere of action will become philosopher king. Talking about the power of the philosopher king, Plato in his book The Republic felt that the philosopher king alone should enjoy the right to exercise political power. He felt that the power of philosophy, political greatness and wisdom to meet in one. Otherwise, he felt that the cities will never have rest from their evils. He wanted the rule of a philosophy in the ideal state and at the same time gave the ruler absolute sovereign power to rule. Since he is the embodiment of virtue and knowledge, Plato felt that there was no need for public control over his action. Plato also discussed the functions of the philosopher king in his book The Republic. The main function of the philosopher king was to maintain the integrity of the ideal state. In order to do so, he was required to perform four important functions. That is, he has to maintain justice so that the three social classes remain in order. The membership of each class is given to a child according to his or her personality. He has to maintain the system of education and training meant for the upper two social classes. And thirdly, he has to maintain the size of the population of the state. And fourthly, he has to keep his control over the economic classes so that there is no abundance of wealth in the hands of any person. In order to do so, he may have to make a law. Now let us discuss the criticism of the concept of a philosopher king. In Plato's ideal state, the philosopher king monopolizes all power in his hand, which may lead to the dictatorship of a single person. People cannot remove him from power if they are not satisfied with his rule. Thus, he becomes the embodiment of totalitarian morality. Plato's concept of education to the philosopher king tends to ignore the education in law, literacy, etc. Only philosophic nature is tested to exclude others which cannot be justified. A ruler requires knowledge of everything, including economics, which is not given in Plato's ideal state to the philosopher king. In fact, it is difficult to get a philosopher king who has the qualification as specified by Plato. It is theoretically very attractive, but in practice may fail to produce such a ruler. In that case, should the state remain without a ruler? And that is the question for which Plato failed to give answer. Plato's ideas about philosopher king being free from family and property ownership to govern unselfishly is not feasible. Good governance depends on so many factors, and Plato ignores such factors. His ideas that an old person without family and property is the best person to govern is questionable. And another important question which is not answered by the Plato's philosophy is that if there is so many philosophers with equal capability, then who should decide to become a king? It is clear that Plato in his The Republic did not give much importance to the concept of law and the people's involvement in making law. Plato trusted too much in the wiseness and the seniority of the philosopher king. But later on, Plato became doubtful of the success of his ideal state with his philosopher king. He modified his philosophy, and in his later books, that is in The Statesman and the Laws, he included the laws as the necessary to rule the state in the ideal way.